Good morning. I've already been up running around in the garden. Right now I'm a little bit aggravated because I went downstairs to get something, and I'm working on my memory skills. Why do I make these glasses crooked? Okay. Working on my memory skills and went downstairs, couldn't pull it. Don't know what I went down there for. I have no idea. I just can't. And it was triggered by something up here. I was coming up here to continue to work on head injury Jane, and something up here triggered and prompted me to go downstairs and get something, and I don't know what it is. So I'm trying not to be aggravated, but I guess I'm still trying to pull it. Okay, I don't know at all. That's very frustrating. Because see, I've been doing a pretty good job of trying to track it back. Track everything. I don't know. So anyway, obviously that's why I'm now doing this whole series and doing all this stuff, this head injury Jane business. This is about trying to understand just how weird and random and absolutely terrifying head injuries can be, not just during when you're losing conscious or fighting for consciousness, but many months later. I doubt I would be I don't think I would be revisiting the head injury stuff. I mean, it would be there for record, but I wouldn't revisit it. But now I'm actually I'm going to dedicate my time here to trying to show how terrifying head injuries are. I mean, what I've been experiencing, and I know I've discussed quite a bit now. I'm sure at this point you're probably tired of hearing me talk about it. But when it's ongoing, I can easily overlook it. That's what I've been doing, working on these projects, which I'm going to continue to do. I think I have blue hair on my face. We've been out running around in the yard, and you have to excuse my mess. Okay, so anyway, but when it's in the present, in the now. And I'm still being affected like this, I was going to go room to room, like I've said, room to room. I forget what I'm doing. I've never done that before in my entire life. No. This is just, and I've seen now a few of the, videos where I broke down. And that breaks my heart. They're recent too. The ones where I've been breaking down are recent because I realize my mind is changed. And no matter how scary this is, and no matter how I attempt to impress upon my medical providers, which I do not feel are doing as good a job as what should be done. I mean, I believe if I had private insurance, that I would be seen already for an MRI. What I experienced last Thursday, and that's where I broke down. As a matter of fact, I named the video my breaking point. And then battling back. Basically, I'm going to try to fight this. I'm going to try to fight this with logic. I'm going to record what's happening to me. I am now taking notes. Like, for example, I have a note here to do a video about how uncomfortable I am watching the videos. If I had only known, right, that was really hard. So this was a note from yesterday when I was doing all the head injury Jane uploads and creating the artwork. But of course, creating the artwork, that wasn't near like whatever. But when I'm watching the videos and I'm saying things like, I was trying to talk, but what I said was garbled and it didn't come out as what I was trying to say, which is typical for like a stroke or a head injury. Of course, I was having, I had a head injury, a traumatic brain injury for F's sake. And I am just shocked. Anyway, so there are things like that are in the videos that just are very scary to me because that's bad. Those are bad signs, that you're you have a head injury and you can't think. I mean, I remember the night of the head injury, like I knew that like everyone always said, don't rest, whatever you do, don't go to sleep if you have a head injury, blah, blah, blah. And this was so bad. The last thing I wanted to do was sleep. I would have been, I was too terrified to sleep. The head injury was so bad. I stayed up all night, but what I did was I challenged my mind. I went on, what I deemed to be a type of therapy, right? My brand of fighting this self-healing. And so instead of, I was so knocked dumb, for lack of a better word. I was completely like my head. I went on this weird, it was like I was trying to educate people with what I deemed important, or what was, there goes the monarch butterfly again. That's nice. What I deem, oh wow, oh no. Oh, I'm gonna have to stop this and go back. Really? The head injury and what I was experiencing. Right. So what I did. Okay. What I did, I did the opposite. I went posting on Facebook and I wrote, but I had such, when I was writing, and I talk about this in those videos. I know there's more coming up. So I think I'm actually I think at some point I start, uh, I almost feel like I'm confessing, because I would not want people to know how much I struggled, or how, well, I guess I say that. I mean, I really was afraid I was not, well, that I wasn't going to be the same potentially. And so I went on a rampage, trying to express myself in ways that if I were to die, that would be like my legacy, so to speak. Like that would be something that I did in my last hours of life or whatever. And it really was done with like intent of education and love, and of what I was experiencing or whatever. But I don't think I ever, there are a handful of people who obviously know about it, but um, one woman sat with me, uh, thankfully, thankfully. Deborah Rosen and my Facebook friends queue, she sat with me. I talk about her too. At some point, I think I start opening up about that as well. But she didn't want me to sit alone without without anyone, because it was so dangerous, that I could, at any time, I could lose consciousness and die or whatever. If I was bleeding out, or if I was obviously, like, if I started convulsing, I wouldn't be able to. And see, I still like what's happening to me now. This crap is, it's like I'm experiencing, I know, I think I keep saying this, I must sound like a broken record. I'm experiencing the headiness again though, but I can't, I guess if you've never experienced what I'm talking about, like how it goes from normal to, well, my new normal, because my ears never stop ringing, but the headiness is like when I had the head injury right at the beginning. And for this to be my new normal is not going to, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. So one of the reasons I'm doing this right here, Head Injury Jane, is to create a pattern in my life of routine that means something, that I will be motivated to work on every day, because my goal here is not only to educate you, but it's also to share with you what I'm going through. I don't mean to tear up, but it is a change for me, and I am scared, and I don't really shoot. Okay, I guess this is just part of it. Oh, and if I get this moisturizer in my eyes, it's gonna burn like the devil. um. Give me just a moment. Let me get these. Um. it's to also, have a record. I guess when I was trying to impress that upon my primary care physician, she must have felt overwhelmed, or I don't know. But when I had that headiness on Thursday, and I panicked. I mean, I canceled reservations to a really nice restaurant. Um, and I had those plans with a friend. So I mean, this was a big deal. A friend from out of state, and that headiness took me down. And so I'm scared, because not just that. Okay, and there's a video that I have. It'll come in. If you haven't seen it yet, but I just went on here on this computer, because see, the files that the head injury Jane videos that I'm uploading, those are old. I had to pull them from an old drive. So I also have videos on here that are newer, of course. So I was very fortunate that I decided to log, because now that this is coming back, I'm able to go back and well, see. There were things I even forgot, that in the video I was just like, oh my God, like I forgot that when I was trying to speak, it was coming out garbled. That's a bad sign. That's a very bad sign. And so I'm going to get off that. I'm going to try not to panic, but because of what I feel like now, I think that's why it's become so terrifying for me, because, it's pretty heavy, pretty serious for my mind to, be operating like this. So I'm doing this video stuff, this head injury Jane. I'm going to do a web page and Twitter. I'm going to share a traumatic brain injury experience. All of this, because this is terrifying, and I'm alone. And if you're, terrified, and it doesn't matter if you have 100 people around you, if no one seems to be getting how affected you are from what's happening to you, people are like, every time I speak with someone, it's like, is this a psychiatric emergency? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to get it across that, it feels like I'm experiencing an actual traumatic brain injury in that moment. I guess that's what I need to say. I haven't actually said that, but that's what it is. I think that's why it's so damned terrifying. I don't speak garbled, but like my head, it just goes. It's just gone. Yeah, it becomes this, like, not just subpar, but very impaired. I'm supposed to give myself the weekend off from this, but watching those videos yesterday for some of the editing, my phone almost fell. For some of the editing stuff. Now I stopped watching like through all of them, like, because it's too much time. It was too much time. It was taking me so much time to get it all together that but watching those videos, and then just what happened to me last week in that sentence I told you to Dr. Tom, and there's just so much. Like I said, I said in one video, I'm sure I'm going to say it, I've said it before, I'm saying it now. There's so much that I'm forgetting, and so much that's happening to me, that if I tracked everything, I would be, that's all I'd be doing. And I think that I would be a mess. So I'd rather be proactive and go at it from that angle, be proactive and share and try to educate. I mean, obviously I'm not here to rewrite head injury business. I'm here to reiterate it. What I want to do is I want to wake people up to how it can effectively change your life. I mean, I was in a home. I wasn't out on the streets. I wasn't playing sports. I wasn't, I was in the kitchen, and I'm an athlete, and so I did this to myself. I mean, this is terrifying. I mean, you just can't imagine how you can change your own life in your own home in a second. And how, apparently it's at this point now, I have yet to speak with it. I've yet to have an MRI. This happened August 24th. I've told this to every doctor that I've seen. I've seen at least 4 medical professionals, one in emergency room fashion, but that was for high blood pressure. Is that correct? Yeah, and I've seen it. Oh no. Well, I mean, 3. I mean, there've been other medical professionals, but you know, I'm carrying in my list of things like I do. I did that when I had an oh god, oh, I forgot about that till I started going through all my old files and just all, everything that happened with that, because I keep medical files, and I found a note that I took in to the doctors, and that note is just not, I mean, it's, that handwriting is not mine. I was like terror, like you could tell there's something wrong. It's like a lot. I was like, oh my god, and I forgot that I even took that into the ER. I can't believe that no one has MRI'd my head. I can't believe that ER doctor did not take care of me appropriately. That is something that is astonishing to me. That he did not take care of it. He did not MRI me. He didn't even X-ray me to see if my skull was fractured. I mean, oh my god. So no one has MRI'd me. And right, I've not had an X-ray of my head. Dr. Tom did X-ray my neck, and there was osteoarthritis was diagnosed in my neck. It is very painful. It affects my shoulders and my collarbones. My collarbone. It affects in here in my shoulders, and then into the traps. Of course, the neck is a mess, but the head injury is dominating what's happening in my life, because it's even when I'm in my strong mind, it's not quite the same. I feel a bit fogged out. So, oh, 17 minutes. I gotta, oh, no. Cancel. Hold on. I got a cleaner that just kicked on. I was like, no. But I'm doing this because I don't want people who are experiencing this to feel alone. So I'm going to put what I'm experiencing out there, just how traumatic this is. But there was something like last night. Oh, that's what it was. I came upstairs last night to get something, completely forgot. So I wrote this down here. I think I may have done a video about it too. I don't know. Anyway, so I came up here to get something that is normally downstairs. And when I got up, was literally as soon as my feet hit the stairs, at the top of the stairs, I forgot it was gone. I was like, so I came up here. I think I wrote about it here because I walked over to the blind. And I was like, okay, I'm going to remember this. I'm going to remember this. So I started scanning the room. I was like, okay, let's look around and see if something could jog my memory. Sorry, I got dog hair all over me. I love Blue very much, so, and he loves me. Anyway, started scanning the room, and lo and behold, it was the fan. I was coming up here to get the fan. I felt really triumphant. I did do a video because I felt so triumphant about it. Yes, I did do a video because I felt so happy that I remembered. I was like, I did. Well, instead of panicking, that's what I'm saying. I'm now starting a new path on how I'm going to handle this kind of stuff. I'm going to note it and or do a video about it, just like I did about how I'm still slightly aggravated that there was something up here that was a visual cue for me to go downstairs and get something. I started at the beginning of this video, and I went downstairs, and I'm looking around now. There's nothing that gives me there's no visual anything like cue of whatever. And that's been a long time now, so I haven't actually forgot about forgetting. Oh my God. The new mind is what I call it. I know I've said that multiple times. The new mind. Pen and paper, baby. That's how I'm gonna plow through this. I'm gonna document it. I'm gonna share. The more I learn, the more I find out, the more I will just continue to share. I will share my vulnerabilities and my struggles. If I don't, I will feel so alone and so absolutely beyond anything. It's terrifying. My last Thursday experience was terrifying. And, I could do without that, uh, ever happening again. Ever happening again. So I am now working with, like I've got goals and like I've already said, I've got things that I'm doing. My garden is beautiful. I do want to talk about the positive things that I'm doing to cope. So let me tap into that. This is 20 minutes. I'm just going to end this by saying that, uh, oh my gosh, the garden, right? What I'm doing to cope, some of the things that I do to cope. I have a garden that first thing in the morning when I get up. Oh, that's another thing too. I'm actually almost forgetting to take my blood pressure pill in the morning, and it's at the head of my bed. And so it's like I think like the other morning I actually did. I came upstairs and started doing things, and it's usually the first thing I do when I wake up is take the blood pressure pill, and that's how I kind of trained myself to take the medication. To see the mind, that's the thing that people don't understand. Look, I'm actually puffy because I've been drinking beer and wine to cope. That's one of the ways I'm like I am medicating myself with that, like beer and wine, not like crazy amounts, but I am every evening. I'm drinking like, see, last night I drank two beers, and it's one of those things where, but this I've been doing that for about every evening now for probably since the headiness that traumatized me, and the doctor did not respond. Like it was I had asked, almost had even asked if there were any um, anything that she knew that I could be doing cognitively to help. And it was wait for the neurologist. That was like that's the 30th of this month is when I'm going to the neurologist. I don't even know if my MRI has been granted. I don't know if anyone's advocating that for me at this point. I'm pretty sure it's all going to go to pot. I just kind of feel like no one's getting it. That's what I feel like. Anthony bought this for me as a treat. He's trying to make me feel better, which is awesome. This is my it's a Starbucks cups. I love Starbucks cups. There's just something about them to me that can be very homey if I happen to like one. Not all of them. Anyway, it says fresh brewed inspiration for the day ahead. Fresh brewed inspiration for the day ahead. And you would think I would have that memorized by now, considering that, I used to be able to memorize anything if I chose at the drop of a hat. Anything at all. But now, the new mind is a little bit different. I'm still able to take in knowledge. I'm still, reading plenty of my solar system and universal and metaphysics, and I'm still reading my news articles, my research articles for the many different earth sciences and space, which I love. But I do feel a bit, see, that's what people maybe do not understand, that I haven't even gone into that. Wow, I just now realized I haven't even gone into that. I'm going to end this at 25 minutes. It's coming up here, and then I'm going to do another video about how I feel dumbed down. Well, no, I can do it here. I just feel dumbed down that I used to, not just read, but absolutely understand. I still can. It's just it's a bit more work. It's harder for me. There's definitely this impairment, and so I don't know. I'm kind of starting to get a little stir crazy too. I think that's why I'm doing all these videos to share this. So I'm like, again, so I'm not sharing it alone. going through it alone, like I said, when I reached out to the doctor, I thought that she would, oh, okay, the educational stuff. Oh, yeah. The dumbing down type stuff. You can't almost believe it. I know I can't. But like I said, the things that I'm doing to cope. So I have lost a lot of things I guess I haven't even begun to discuss here. Like the cooking. I've kind of, like, it's really weird. And I really wonder what Anthony thinks about it. I haven't asked him. He knows I'm not cooking as much. Wow, it's like dog hair everywhere. But uh, there's a lot of things that I'm missing. But I am doing things to cope, and I am going to be much more forgiving of myself and go and like slow down. And just like yesterday, I photographed a dragonfly in the greenhouse. I photographed these two insects, some type of mosquito breed, but not if they call them skeeter hawks, but that's in the South. I don't know. But they're a type of breed. They actually don't bite humans, though. What they do is they eat smaller mosquitoes and other insects, but they look at my hair. I just woke up, and like I said, I went out into the garden. Gorgeous day. That's right. Cope. Find ways to cope, and find ways to do things that make you happy, and forgive yourself. I need to start making sure I say this kind of stuff because it's really important. Sometimes I'm just coming on here and I'm so all over the place. I think I'm actually burping chocolate from last night. I am swollen. And I have been, like last night, I actually ate at 10:30 at night, a little like an pasta salad thing I made on Thursday night when I didn't go out to eat. So I ended up cooking dinner here because I just didn't want to blow off my friend. But, you know, the videos from that day are awful. Okay, anyway, so the goal is to make sure that we find ways to cope, that you find ways to cope. I am finding ways to cope. I was being driven to the brink of madness is what it felt like. It truly did. And I'm an intelligent woman. There is no sense in allowing emotion and panic to take over. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that we take back some semblance of our life. We have to be calm and take it back. I really was going into a full bore panic, but I think what people were failing to recognize, or maybe people do recognize, oh, there's something on my screen. Or maybe they do recognize and they just can't say it because most people that I'm talking to are medical professionals. But not having family is very difficult for me. Not having like my sibling or a mom and dad who care, or grandparents, or people who are like normal and healthy and loving and respectful and dignified and operate with integrity. And did I say respect and good? Well, and then of course Beverly and Chase are gone, and so it's like there's no family, there's no support system. So not only am I going through this extraordinarily traumatic experience, this traumatic event that's happening to me. Last week I called it a medical crisis. I'm going to stick with that because I got to tell you, it doesn't fucking feel good. You're not calm about it when it happens. You don't feel like, because there's bits of me that are very frustrated that I don't have I don't have a support system. That's incredible. That's very incredible. I mean, and then to be going through this, to not remember sometimes. In long-term memories, let's see, there was one yesterday that I think, oh no, it was new. The whisk was old. Oh man, I lost a new memory. A Nutty Buddy. I've been eating them since I was a child. Little Debbie snack mix. Or snack cake. Those Nutty Buddies, the chocolate ones. Like anyone who ever grew up eating those, you know what those are. Nutty Buddies. And I couldn't. Anthony said, we were talking about desserts, and I think I was probably wanting like cake or something. Look at me, I'm puffing up on, using a few drinks a night and chocolate and food or whatever I want, I guess, to, medicate myself that way. I love chocolate. It makes me feel good. But in either case, uh, this shocked me a little bit. It did. Any of the long-term memories that I don't remember, they always feel the same to me. I broke down over the whisk. I've talked about the whisk multiple times by now. You've heard about the whisk. But um, because the whisk has become like my staple, oh my God story. It's the one for some reason. But I know there's more before this. I know there are more videos I haven't come across that are going to break my heart. Because I'm pretty sure I remember I did some videos about this memory thing didn't start really showing itself, the long-term memory loss, and then the short-term. I thought all this was, I wasn't able to focus on anything because my blood pressure was so high. So what it was though is I was having high blood pressure with this head injury business because I wasn't treated medically appropriately in the first place. So anyway, the memory stuff, I started coming, the long-term memories, those that freaked me out. But I started becoming aware that I had lost long-term memories a few months ago. I want to say like maybe 4 months ago. I'm not exactly sure. At the time, I know I did a video about the whisk. I had to because I was breaking down. It's when I was doing that video a couple days ago, on the day of the headiness on Thursday. That was, that was not, well, that was sentence structure, the memory loss, and then the headiness. It all caught up to me because I actually had a bad few days. I was trying to let people know that my head was out of control. People don't listen. People don't listen. So, anyway, Nutty Buddies. Anthony we were talking about desserts, and he goes, "Yeah, I like Nutty Buddies," and I was like, "A Nutty Buddy?" I said, "What's that?" And I actually, I actually thought it was a candy bar from Reese's, where they take their peanut butter cups and like I guess they take the components of peanut butter and chocolate, and then they put like nuts, and there's probably caramel in there too. I don't know. I want one really bad. I've only had one once. Sounds so good right now. Whereas I'm doing a sugar, I'm doing a sugar thing right now. It makes me feel good. But anyway, I didn't know what Nutty Buddy was. He goes, yeah, the peanut. He was actually trying to describe them, but that was making it worse. I was like, because I had there was zero. I wasn't able to draw on it. I was like, I said, is that the one? I think I asked him multiple times, is that the one from Reese's? And he said, no, 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 it's not. And then that's when he remembered, which was cool. Little Debbie. And I still was like, not really drawing anything. And after he's, oh, this was just last night. This was just, see, this is better than crying. You gotta laugh about it because I know Anthony, he's now like saying to me, I'm sure, well, I hope that he recognizes that that's fucked up and that that's wrong and that he needs to be paying attention maybe to me because that's a long-term memory I love Nutty Buddies. I mean, I actually asked him, don't bring them into the house because I'll eat them. That's just the childhood thing. I have a thing for childhood food and scents. Like sometimes when it rains around in the forest, it'll smell like where the biological male donors came from, and so. And that's a whole other thing, you guys. I haven't even, by this point, I don't have family, but I don't know if you know the whole story about me either. It's not good. I have no family, and my best friend was my sibling, Beverly, my younger sibling, and her child, Chase, her firstborn. We were all three extraordinarily close. Best friends, people who knew us knew that, and they were killed in 1997 in an automobile accident, just those two. And it was awful. I've been through years and years and years of cognitive reprogramming, working on accepting my life without them and my life without family. And that, I think that's what people don't recognize, is that this injury is, I feel that it's a threat to everything I've been working on to be strong on my own from all the damage that I sustained. My father domestically abused the biological female donor for the first 10 or 11 years of my life, and it was very vicious and very bad. And then our biological female donor became the abuser, marrying 5 additional times for a total of 6 after the male biological donor. And he was both our, so Beverly and I are sibling, full blood. And so Ruth became the abuser. She, stopped buying food for us and medicine when we were 14, 15, and 16, while she supported her crackhead boyfriends. They put a padlock on their bedroom door when I was 17, a padlock, and quit buying food, like everything. I mean, almost like became a hermit in the home. And it was just bizarre. But I don't know. So that's the story. That's why it makes what I'm going through so bad. I'm actually published on that in real life. But I say in real life because Head Injury Jane is a moniker. I'm sharing myself here openly, and I'm just doing so anonymously. Because I have other aspects of my life that I've survived through, that I've come through. And this head injury, when I was in my panic stage, I'm still, I've just decided now that I'm not going to do a panic, but I still do get hurt. I still do get very upset about certain things. But, that's what makes this all so complicated, is that I don't have family. And then the family that I did have, my sister and my nephew were the best things, and her children, but my mother turned my youngest nephew against me. So it's all, she's like mad. She's insane mad. And I was the super intelligent one who was nothing like anyone else in the family. Da 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 da. And even though I survived all that damage, I was just going through extreme cognitive reprogramming to get everything straight. And when I did, as I was there, because 2013 was an amazing and pivotal year for me, starting February the 20th, 2013. I mean, I've done tons and tons and tons of videos about this. I've had some amazing breakthroughs in 2013 spiritually, in growth for what I needed. So then to have the head injury, oh my God, that's what I need to do. Needs to go up immediately. So I can share this so you guys can see where I am to date. I am struggling beyond any reason. And I'm doing it alone, but I am now finding coping methods. I'm gardening, and I'm doing Head Injury Jane to give myself, like I said, routine and purpose, and hopefully help people with head injuries. Take great care. Watch your heads, and just know that was probably why I just now realized. I mean, I think I knew that I was experiencing it emotionally, but to say it openly, like, that's why part of me is struggling so much, is because I do not have family to support me. And not just that, but the family that I did have, my father was an awful man. My mother was an awful woman. They were awful. They were not parents. I call them male and female biological donors because they did not contribute to parenting. That's a love that takes kindness, that takes, you take care of your children. You don't choose alcoholic, abusive, drug addicted boyfriends over your children and not buy food and not take care of them and throw them, and then when Beverly and Chase were killed, I'm telling you, it was what Ruth did, the biological female donor. You just can't imagine. You just can't imagine. So I am some kind of miracle to be standing here, and then I suffer the head injury after going through tons of cognitive reprogramming. And now this head injury, it's like I've dropped 50 IQ points sometimes. Watch your heads out there. Be safe.